beautiful people, it's Robyn Thomas here with Resemble Me by Robyn. Welcome back to my channel. On today, I'm going to be showing you all how I installed these beautiful traditional butt length box braids. I'm laughing because yes, I put some traditional box braids in my head in 2025. Like, are people still doing that? I have not seen it, but I did. So one of the reasons why I decided to do this install was because it's been forever, like outside of me doing my micro box braids, which are teeny tiny. I have not put a traditional install in my head, and I wanted just to get an updated self-opinion of the pros and cons and the comparison of traditional box braids and knotless box braids. It has been forever, like I said. Like when I was even doing hair, probably within like the last 5 years, I may have put traditional box braids in like a handful, and if I'm being honest, I can't even really count 5 people that I actually put traditional box braids in outside of like my mom, which that's like her go-to. But yeah, so I installed these beautiful butt length traditional box braids on myself in this soft chocolate color, which is a custom color mix that I do already have on my channel. I'll be sure to link that in the description box so that you all are able to press on that and go to it quickly right after you watch this video. So if you are interested in the installation of a traditional box braids, pros and cons of a traditional box braids, comparisons of traditional box braids and knotless box braids, and a very quick and easy tip on how I install these butt length braids without having to feed hair in and without putting a ton of hair in my head, then definitely keep watching.
Stop. Don't touch me on the knife.
Soul music, man. Soul music, man.
So yeah, so I'm ready to start. I have decided to use soft chocolate for my install. And I actually, so this is the soft chocolate mix, but I have a number 8 that's by itself. I'm really loving this very bright chocolate color. And I wanted to go like, a little ground, a little seethe, you know what I'm saying? Initially, I was gonna do ruby, but I have done red multiple times. And I've actually kind of been thinking about the idea of lighting my hair to a brown color. So I don't know, I guess it's like a little, I don't know, tester or something to see, like, having it in for a while, like, do I really like the brown against my skin? Is that something that I want to do more permanently? So anywho, I'm going with the soft chocolate mix, and as I stated, I do have a number 8 that's by itself, but I decided to go with, I mixed a new batch, so I decided to go with the lighter of the bundles. So most of this is number 8 with some 6 and some number 4 sprinkled in. For this install, it's pretty simple and easy. All I have is my comb. I have a couple of big clips, small clips, a ponytail holder, a wide tooth comb, and hair butter that I mixed. You guys seen on my short if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Instagram, you've seen it in my reel. Since I'm choosing to do traditional braids, the setup for this is really easy. I have all of my bundles here. I have my number 8, and then I have my mix of my soft chocolate from lightest to darkest. And since I'm starting in the back, I'm going to start with the darkest color. So I already have that brushed out, and then as I choose and decide how bright or how light I want to go, I'm just going to prep the bundles by simply brushing them out and having them right here on this chair to pull from. I also have my 3-way mirror, which has been coming in handy. I have been loving this thing since I've got it. I can see and position this any way that I need to see the back of my head, to see the side, and then I have the mirror behind me, which is also a big help. So let's get started. Okay, so I promise y'all, I had every intention on doing free parts for this install, but I kid y'all not, when I started to braid my hair, my hands and my comb just went to what it knows how to do, and that is square parting. I did not realize literally until after I parted the first row, but we're here, so let's keep going. So this is the hair butter that I made. If you have not got a chance to look at it, it is on my shorts on here, but I wanted something that was thick enough to create a bit of a hold, but also light enough to really be able to absorb into my hair strands. Nothing that was going to be heavy, but thick. And so, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I am doing butt length or hip length, however you like to call it, traditional box braids. And I chose to go traditional this time because I really did want to see if I had updated pros and cons. And I also just did some knotless box braids this past summer, which was really close to now, of course. And I want to see like the differences again between the two, because it's been a while since I've had it installed in my head. So I wanted to get an updated preferences for myself. So I want to show you all basically how I install these braids to make them immediately flexible, right? How I create them to be extra long without having to feed in pieces. Like, what I didn't want to do was take a long time with these braids, even though I did kind of extend my time by making them butt length. But I didn't want the process to be like, it's easy doing knotless box braids, but it is still tedious doing knotless box braids, right? So I didn't want to have to add pieces of hair. I wanted to keep with that, even though I wanted my braids to be super long. And the good thing about like the method that I'm going to show you all is whenever you go to style your hair, like especially like when you put it in buns and stuff like that, you're going to easily be able to secure your style without having to add extra reinforcements like more ponytail holders or bobby pins or anything like that. So I want to show you all how I, again, install it for it to be flexible, and also how I install it so that you're able to get extra length without having to add any extra pieces, and for the install not to be heavy. Because if you think about it, when you'll see that the method that I have is going to taper out the hair a lot more. So it's going to be the same amount of hair as if you were to install it and it was just going to be long, like say a waist length or something like that. So when I install my traditional box braids, I like to separate my hair into 3 pieces before entering the actual hair weave. So I either go 1/3 up the top and then separate the bottom into 2 pieces like so when I'm doing bigger braids. But because I'm doing small, I just like to do 3 straight across like this. So even part straight across like this. I take my hair, and when I go to separate my hair, I don't do 1/3 and 2/3. I do what would be my 1/3 piece is actually a little bit more than 1/3, but a little less than half. I do that because when I go to flip it over, right, to create the 3 parts, I take one of those sides and slide it all the way down. I need that short side to still be as thick as the other 2 pieces, which is why the 1/3 is a little bit bigger than what it normally would be, right? So then I just take my braids or take my 3 pieces. And what you want to do is you don't want to braid downward as if you're braiding in a cornrow. You want to almost like pick up the braid, right? So you're doing your revolutions and you want to braid it and you want to go all the way under it almost as if you're trying to braid underneath itself. I really hope that makes sense. But as you see, my fingers going up underneath instead of pulling down as I'm braiding the hair. And the reason that I like to do that is because it bunches all of that hair into that section to where it's immediately flexible. Now, something that I do want you guys to keep in mind is your hair is new. So you're not going to have any new growth, but it does still give you the effect of if you had Knotless box braids in, you'll still have that tension like that, but it will be a little more loose at the base than it would if you were installing it and braiding it in a downward motion. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about as I continue to install this braid set, basically. So as I'm going down, I'm going to start to borrow the hair. I also like to do that, go ahead and separate my hair at the beginning because I don't want to borrow hair as I'm installing it. That actually makes my takedown process extremely easy to where I don't have to, it's not like too confused where it's not taking a long time. It's a lot easier. It's a lot of a smoother takedown as opposed to having a whole bunch of like tangled pieces while you're trying to take it down. But as I'm braiding towards the end, all you're doing is the same thing. The hair is already tapered because of it being pre-stretched, but it's tapered even more and even thinner, creating it to be really, really long. Now, if you don't want to braid all the way down to the end, you actually don't have to because of how tapered the hair is, because of the method that I'm using. Me, I do like to go down and leave about 2 inches at the end that's like a little loose. That way when I do go to dip it, it goes from braid to extremely straight hair. But as you can see, I'm able to pull my hair up without a problem because it is extremely flexible with the method that I used. So when it comes to installing your edges, I like to not separate my hair into even pieces. I actually like to have more hair out on the outer edge as opposed to the rest of it. So I'll split my hair in half And then I'll split the part that's away from my edges in half as well. So those two parts are going, or those two sections are going to be a little slimmer than the section that's closest to the edge. The reason I like to do that is because the hair that's on the edge is more delicate. It's prone to more breakage. So I don't want to have more of the weight on that side of the hair as opposed to the other two sections that I'm creating. Again, I'm showing you how I am creating the butt length by simply pulling down one side longer than the other side. And then as I am installing it, I'm grabbing all of the pieces, holding it really tight, right? Not pulling, but holding it really tight. And it's almost like I'm trying to braid over the braid or the part of the braid that's already been braided. It makes it really tight, but it scrunches it up a lot after you've bunched up like that section of hair together. I really, really hope that makes sense. I think if you do it, it'll really, really make sense. And all I do is I continue to braid. Once I have it nice and secure in there, I just continue to braid down. Again, I'm using my butter. Was really, really nice for this install. One thing I will say is my ends are blunt because I did clip my ends before I started. I know that that's a headache for like braiders and for people, and I understand that it's easier and quicker to not have to worry about that because the ends like taper themselves. But as for me, it was time for me to clip my ends. And I like to keep with my hair healthy. So I don't ever want to like have a style and compromise my hair health for a style. Like, honestly, if a little bit of my hair, now when I was with clients, it wasn't like this. Like it was easier for me to do their hair, right? Because I can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm not having to like look in the mirror and stuff like that. But when it comes to me, if a little bit of my hair sticks out, I do not care. I wash my hair all the time. It's going to lay down. I'm going to moisturize it. I would rather my hair to be healthy as it can be in this install, as opposed to compromising it, right? Because if you don't clip your ends before, whatever broken ends that you have, especially when it's time, let me say when it's time to clip your ends, the broken ends that you have are going to do nothing but continue to split. I know that people think, well, my hair is at a standstill, and yes, it is, but that don't mean that the damage is not being done, and that doesn't mean that it will quickly happen or will quickly be seen as you are taking your braids down. There is nothing that you can do to damage ends but to cut them. If you keep them, you are making your hair susceptible to more breakage, to having to trim more of your hair, as opposed to trimming your hair prior to having your protective style, letting your new growth grow in, having those healthy ends, and constantly moisturizing and keeping with your wash day routine while you have it in, retaining that length. You will see better results as opposed to saying, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait till after I take my braids out. It's gonna go a whole nother 4 to 6 to 8 or 12 weeks, depending on how long you have your hair in, that your hair is going to be prone to more damage. So I really only have a few things that I can like highlight as far as pros and cons and like the differences between knotless and traditional box braids. And one of the things that is very obvious is you need to use more hair when it comes to this. So if you know me, you know I'm a low density braider, so I try to not to add a lot of hair. I try to only add as much hair as needed for each section, right, that I'm doing. Like I just explained, the front of my hair is not going to be the same size as the back. Some people like for their braids to all be uniformed, and that's not me, right? So with this, and with your ends, with freshly clipped ends, and wanting to have enough hair, you will need to use more hair than you would as if you were doing a knotless install. So that also goes to my next point. I was having troubles a little bit at the top of my head because, again, I try not to add a lot of hair, right? And so I was having troubles because I wasn't adding enough hair. And then I would add what I felt was like too much, because the base of my head, the knot, right? The knot of the traditional braid at the base of my head was too big, and I was like, this is not cute. Like, this is not cute. So I really do think that traditional box braids are a huge plus for people who have thinner hair and who wants their scalp to appear fuller, right? You can do that without weighing your hair down. That's something else I noticed. It's not that big of a difference in the weight, even though I used, I think, like a bundle extra. So I started out with 6 bundles, and I used probably 5, close to 5. Normally with my knotless box braids, I'll use about 4 to 4.5, depending, right? It's not that big of a weight difference, actually. You can feel that it's let me say weightier, or it's fuller at the base of your scalp. Like when I was like going to put my hair in a ponytail or whatever, I was like, okay, I can clearly feel that I have braids in my head, as opposed to when you have the knotless braids, because of the install method, because you're feeding the hair in, right? Starting with your hair and feeding the hair in, it makes it a lot sleeker and a lot slimmer. So that is one of the biggest ones that I remembered, but I hadn't felt it in so long that I was like, is that still a thing? And yes, it is, especially if you are someone who has medium to high density hair. When it comes to installing traditional, know that the base of your braids will probably be chunkier than you actually want them to be. Okay, so that is, I think, a con when it comes to people, again, with medium to high density hair, but it's actually a pro for those who have low density hair and who want their scalp to appear fuller, especially it really don't even matter like which way you're installing them. So if you're doing boxes like I like to do, or even if you're doing free part, because it falls in between the braids that are beneath it, it helps for it to appear fuller, filling in that space in your scalp. So again, is that traditional, I think, is a huge pro for people who have thinner hair. Like for instance, my mom, I've never done knotless box braids on my mom because she has low density hair. We always do knotted box braids. We always do traditional box braids, and we'd like to go small because we want for her hair and her braid, or me, I like her hair to be nice and full. Like sometimes she'd be like, I want to go medium. I'm like, no ma'am, we're not going medium, we're going small. So that is definitely an obvious difference between those two. As I stated before, like when I was showing you guys my preparation for the appointment, the pro for traditional is so much quicker to prepare. If you are, I have a ton of expressions braiding care where I have to what's it called? Lord, I do this all the time. Got to stretch the hair out. But if you have, if you're already buying hair from the hair store that's already stretched, most hair stores only have pre-stretched hair now. The get ready time or preparation time is, so fast, as opposed to when you have knotless braids, because you want to separate it on the tool, and then not all the time while you're installing it is it the right size. Again, I like to install according to the density of the section that I'm doing, right? So sometimes I would have to take a little extra time to say, okay, I need to make this one smaller, or I actually need to add a little bit more hair to this section because this part or the middle of my head is so thick and I need to make sure that I'm adding enough. Or instead of adding 3, I may have to add 4 pieces so that it's not thick at the root, and then but I have enough to cover up my ends, as I'm braiding down. So it's definitely a pro to traditional box braids when it comes to preparation time, and it's a lot cleaner. It's a lot cleaner. You have to worry about if your tool is going to fall over, if your hair is going to still be separated. Like that takes a lot of time, and you don't want to mess it up. And especially like if you're doing it yourself, you have kids at the house. I just really didn't have any worries with my daughter being around while I was braiding my hair, as opposed to when I do my knotless braids. It's like, no, I need y'all to stay stay out the bathroom, because if y'all if y'all come around here and accidentally, you know, hit the chair or something, it can make this hair fall over. So that's definitely a plus when it comes to the traditional box braids. All in all, I totally think it's preference. I can say that when I was installing, I was nervous, like, am I gonna like this? But listen, once I was done, I was like, it's so cute, it's so cute. So I really do think it's preference, and I think that your hair density should definitely play a role or a factor in choosing which one of those that you would like to do. But again, there really isn't that big of a difference when it comes to weight. So if your hair is strong and is healthy, you should be fine. Just choose whichever one you think will work best for you and your lifestyle. So now that I've explained how I've done my methods, I really am just going to let you guys watch as I continue to install my hair. I'm going to have a few more of these braids on the side so you can clearly see how to properly and safely install them on your edges. One thing I will say before I log off or stop doing my voiceover part is your edges, unless you have the same amount of hair around all of your hair, which is not the majority of us, the edge braids and the nape should not be as big as the center of your hair. If you can already see, my edge braid right here is smaller than the braids that are in the back of my head, simply because my hair density is not the same. If you want your braids to be installed as healthy as possible, then you absolutely want to adapt this method and be okay with them not all being the same size. I'm just gonna let you know, it's not going to really make a visible difference whenever your hair is done.
So music, so music, Resemble music. Resemble music. Resemble music. Resemble music.
This install actually took me about 3 days to do, simply because I was enjoying my family as I was installing my hair. I was in no rush. I knew that I was going to take a couple of days to do it, but I wanted it to be 2 days. When it came to the third day, it was actually a school day, and I was trying to beat time. So unfortunately, I was not able to get installs of the top of my hair because I needed to be available to go pick up my kids on time. But nonetheless, I really do hope you all enjoyed the parts that you guys were able to see. Thank you all so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you think that someone that you know could use the tips that I gave you today on how to install these braids or how to make them butt length without adding pieces in and without the install being too heavy because of having so much hair, definitely send this to them so that they have that tip. Leave a comment and let me know how you enjoyed the video, and always subscribe if you are not a subscriber. For those of you who continue to come back and watch my videos, thank you guys so much for the continued support. Again, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you beautiful people next time.